Frederick G. Sampson, my special guest. From Bishop College, then where?
Washington, D.C., Howard University. I was in the sciences. I was pursuing the so-called money-making disciplines. And I discovered that it's not how much money you have in your pocket, but how much meaning you have in your passion. It's not how many clothes you got in your closet, but what kind of character you have in the clothes. Not how long your car is, but how deep your character. And if you plan to go somewhere, you make your own destination, and nobody can deter you if you're determined to get there, and your destiny is in your hand. And since I was in poverty, I discovered knowledge is power. I discovered character cannot be overcome with insults. I discovered that if you're headed somewhere, the pause is yours, because the power is in your head, and nobody can take that. As the great philosopher said, Eliot, between the idea and reality falls the shadow. When I discovered, as that little black woman told me, don't ever get caught up in the shadow. Look for the solid object that casts the shadow, because a solid object cannot cast a shadow on its own. There must be a light somewhere. And when that light hits the object, it casts the shadow. So walk through the shadow to the light, but make sure you carry your own light in your own soul.
Dr. Frederick G. Sampson from Columbia University.
Back to Washington and Roanoke, Virginia. That's when I began pastoring. I was working in Washington, D.C. Dr. E.L. Harrison, who opened doors through which I found myself walking, teaching at Howard University, working in the open fields on U Street, on M Street, and this is where the so-called no people lived. Those who didn't have the job, those who didn't have the clothes, those who couldn't speak the classical language, those who could not demonstrate that they belong where other folks say they belong. But I learned more wisdom on the back alleys of U Street and the side roads of M Street from the folk they called the prostitutes and the men and women who didn't have the education. Then I discovered that high training is not necessarily excellent education. Education is what you learn within yourself, how you lay hold of your own brain power, how you're able to say to the world, you called me this, but you hold on and watch a while. Some of the greatest love I learned from people who didn't have anything in their pockets, but they had such depth in their soul. It reminds me of Nature Boy. The greatest thing in all the world is to love and be loved in return. And when I didn't have anywhere to stay, it wasn't always the people with the money or the people with the good education or the people with the big cars, but I was walking to the place, working incognito, trying to find a place to stay, and two brothers came. They didn't look like much. They definitely smelled like they didn't know Chanel No. 5. But I found out they say you can stay with us. I was ready to go to a room, a house. They had taken some cardboards and some old boards and had put them against the building and got an old can and made a pot out of it in the stove and said, we don't have much, brother, but what is ours is yours. That's love in action. That's character in demonstration. And it's not the clothes, but it's the character. And they knew who they were, and they helped me discover what I was all about.
You're listening to Electrify Mojo, Rare Moments. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you wish to subscribe, hit the subscription button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you wish to subscribe, hit the subscription button. Mark, you have that 4 meters CLI now. Roger, 4 meters.